I just want to deal with a myth here today that increasing my retail always increases my margin. That may be true in a majority of areas, but there are some areas which they do not. And it's important to know when increasing my retail does not increase my margin. So we're going to take a fictitious sample here. Let's say a patient came in and bought a $175 frame that had a listed wholesale or frame fax wholesale of $45. And their insurance had a retail allowance of $160 and a wholesale allowance of $50. And let's pretend you got that frame at a vendor discount of 20%. And we can calculate our margins on various formularies real quick and see what they are. And they're all over the place, from insurance to insurance formulary that's out there, depending on what formulary you see the most in your area. There's one that's very high. Don't get excited about that one. It's not a common plan, but it is out there. But let's get to this myth of increasing my retail increases my margins. On some plans it will, on some plans it won't. So let's increase frame retail that the patient, let's pretend they picked a frame that was $225, or that you had simply marked up the same frame to $225. So we'll leave our wholesale the same. You allowed them to pick that frame. You had created a higher margin on that frame, thinking that a higher markup on that frame, thinking that was going to increase your margins. As we look at some of these plans, on one plan, a $50 increase in retail equals a $40 increase in margin. On the second plan, however, no matter how many times I refresh it, it creates no increase in margin. And there are reasons why this is that we will look at in another video, but the point I want to make is that increasing your retail does not always increase your margin on every plan that's out there. So there's some strategic type buying that you have to do in order to accomplish an increase in margin across the board that we'll deal with in future videos.